Good morning, or afternoon, as the case may be. I'm Nolan Bushnell, and I'm here with Dr. Leah Hanes, and we are kind of the spokespersons for ExoDexa. And we thought we'd talk a little bit about some of our plans for the new year, since we're kind of at the end part of December. And one of the things we're going to do next year is to have a physical location here in Los Angeles, and perhaps expand it to other places if we get the kinks worked out. But what it's going to be is kind of a mashup between a tutoring school, kind of like Mathnasium or Kumon, but more than that, it's going to be a existence proof of our gamified software. But more than that, yes, there's more. We are going to curate as much good educational software as we can and provide a safe place for kids to come and experience the best. And we will be able to observe them, see things that work, see the things that work with our software. And so it's going to be an existence proof and a laboratory to understand and to create the best learning environment in the world. And it may sound excessive, but that's kind of what I like. I like to reach for the goalposts. And Dr. Leah, who's much smarter than I am, will be able to maybe elucidate even more.
Well, this is a lot of what we talk about in the book about, what we would do in a physical location to change the way we're educating kids. And I feel like there's a real opportunity to sort of act as an after-school program initially, and then see how it could work as a full day program for schools. But I think that the tutoring services are helpful for the time that the child is in front of the tutor, but it's difficult for the parents because it's only an hour. They've got to get them there on time and be there to pick them up as soon as it's over. And I think what you're talking about, Nolan, feels a little bit more, I would describe it to the kids as a sort of kids community center. Whereas I would describe it to the parent as a wonderful opportunity to have one-on-one tutoring in an environment where the kids want to be there and between their tutoring sessions, because an hour of straight tutoring for a lot of kids is just plain too much. They're learning for the first 20 minutes of it, maybe, and after that, they're just waiting for it to be over. So having them there,
that actually fits with the technology, our understanding. Most kids under 16, under 18, have an attention span of about 20 minutes. So doing anything more than that is not good for the kids, and is probably counterproductive.
Yeah, I think there's a real opportunity in something like this to try it out. If the child needs an hour's worth of tutoring, they need to be there for 3 hours, so they can have a 20-minute session every hour for those 3 hours, and the rest of the time they can be engaged in other enriching projects and programs during the time that they're there. And also working with AI, helping students learn the proper ethical use of AI, because that is a service that they will have for the rest of their lives. So helping them
and coding. I think kids need to understand that we're in a technical age, and while it's fun playing games, can it be more fun to create games? I think so. I think that that art and creation, and when you really look at coding and graphics, on the computer, those are creative skills, and some kids are really good. Been asked to judge games that have been created by 8-year-olds that are fantastic, and I just think that the excitement that they had in creating those was tremendous. My boys were very, very proud of what they created early on. And when I say early on, I'm talking about first, second grade. And
Right.
and of course, they didn't have Unity in those days, but they could sure play with the Doom wad, which those of you who weren't there around, it was one of the first authoring programs for a game that they all loved. So there we go.
I think you also had a very natural experiment of older students helping younger students, since you had 8 children. That the older ones, I'm sure the older ones were there to help. I mean, I think with Brent and Wyatt, if Wyatt was in trouble with something, he'd go to his big brother and have that, that experience of an older mentor. And I think in the program that you're proposing, the Supercharger, the opportunity to have older students helping the younger students is an interesting opportunity in that layout as well.
Exactly, because what age has for younger kids is respect. Because we all wanted to be as cool as the older kids because they were doing cooler things than we were. And I think that that respect gives engagement, and as long as the older kids aren't going off the rails a little bit, which we can monitor, and
Right.
have to be monitored in some ways. But I think that one of the things that we can offer, and we're planning to be open until 10:30 at night. And you say, well, shouldn't kids be to bed? Maybe, but more than likely on the weekends, mom and dad might want to go out to dinner. And so this could be a interesting way to have engagement and babysitting at the same deal. And I think we can price it so that it's very accessible and good for both parents and kids.
Do you see it as having a minimum number of hours and maximum number of hours, or how would you see it operating?
I think that's to be determined. I think we'll try to figure out, pricing and duration and the proper thing. And I do know that if parents have 2 or 3 kids, we have to give them a deal. So if you drop off 3 kids, you don't have to pay the full boat for all the kids. And
Right.
I think we'll have some fun figuring that out. And I think that it'll be different for different communities. Some communities have more money, some communities have less. And so
And there's some really interesting examples of that working these days too. I think of the Every Table organization that has food outlets now all over the city, and depending on the zip code for where that one is located, the cost of the food is different. So Beverly
yeah,
Hills pays a different amount than Inglewood.
yeah. Well, I think that I would like to engage anyone who is watching this podcast to send us ideas that they have on this, because I love the invention process, and I know for sure that some of our ideas are going to be good, and some of our ideas are going to be bad, and figuring that out is part of the adventure.
Well, and also having the Founders Circle helps us get a rounder view of all of these potentials and ideas, because we're bringing together other people who believe that education needs help, and
Right.
different people will bring different ideas to the table, and that's what makes things work.
Well, I know that since we've been looking at some of these things, you know, there's a program of biology and physiology in VR that is really wonderful, and I think kids need to have access to that. And I think that the stuff that we can discover and then bring to the community is really, really special. There's a company out of Utah that does language training called Fluent Worlds. Great stuff, great stuff. And I think that all of that can be wound into a package that is affordable and efficacious and effective. And that's really what we're looking for. So that's our screed for today. And it's Nolan and Leah signing off. Good
Thank
to have
you.
you.